Hello, welcome to iFanboy special edition on Superman. I guess we're going to say 2025. I don't know. There's been a lot of Supermans. Superman the movie? Nope, that's not the right.
It's just Superman. It's just straight Superman. Just let it roll.
They saw the gap. They were like, "Why don't we just call it Superman?" But didn't they? No, we're good.
So we're going to talk about the film. There'll be spoilers. My name is Conor Kilpatrick. I'm here with Josh Flanagan.
What you? Hey guys, it's me.
Oh, there it is. I knew it. I knew it all this time.
And Ron Richards.
Hello, my friends.
So we're talking about the new film from written and directed by James Gunn that kicks off his new version of the DC.
Finally, I feel like it's been. I feel like it's been a decade leading up to this. Yeah.
So again, like I said, spoilers for this film. We're going to talk about it, and I think we should just get into this. There's a lot. I think there's a lot to talk about here. Starting with were you, Ron? You're not a huge Superman fan, but you like Superman movies and media.
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, I would say, I of course, the Christopher Reeve movie is legendary, is perfect. I watched all 10 seasons of Smallville.
You like Superman shows. You like movies.
I watched Lois and Clark, although boo Dean Cain. Yeah, I watched all Superman movies. Yeah.
Were you guys excited? What was the feeling going into the theater when you went for this film? Because I was apprehensive because I'm not a James Gunn fan.
Right. I'm very curious of where you're falling out because you're not a James Gunn fan, but you are a big DC and you're a big Superman fan. You're like, when I think of Kurt Swan, I think of you, Connor.
Right. I love Superman, but I don't like the Guardians films. I didn't like the Suicide Squad movie. You
don't like anything James Gunn does.
Back it up. Ron, answer the question.
Whoa.
What's the question?
The question was, how were you feeling about it before it opened?
Josh is very antagonistic.
He went full prosecutorial mode there.
Yeah, I know.
Which is that we were going to get into Connor's thing, and you would have never answered.
What's the word when you have just a lot to do and you're glad to be getting over with something, getting something off your list? Yeah,
I went to go. Germans say it's Frauenduschen.
So I went to go see it Thursday night at 9:25, purely in logistics because got a lot going on this weekend, and I'm like, let me just get it out of the way. So that's fine. And I saw it out in the suburbs on Long Island.
Sounds like excited.
Where there was no problem getting tickets. Where Connor, you're in LA, right? Where I imagine there's things selling out and stuff like that.
Well, I went to daytime show, so it was not sold out.
Sure, yeah, but I was honestly not taken aback, but I tried to roll in later because I went to a stupid AMC and I tried to roll in after the commercials and all this sort of stuff before the half an hour of manic all over the map trailers ranging from animation to R-rated films, which is crazy. But I was taken aback when I walked into the theater because it was packed and it was all like late teenagers, 20 somethings, like young crowd. Generally, see like the excitement seemed palpable in the room. Let's just say that. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
There were a lot of kids in mine.
Yeah.
Josh?
I am like this at everything. I'm sort of always cautiously optimistic. I like the Guardians movies very much. I liked part of the Suicide Squad movie. However, I did not know that was a very good fit for Superman because as Connor, you all know, but Connor and I we've spent hours and hours and hours of our lives discussing what is and what is not Superman and how he is and how he should be. And so I wanted to like it. What I do know is the first time I saw the trailer and they played the music, which sometimes it was John Williams and sometimes it was John Williams, like I got the feeling. I was like, and I found, we've talked about it before. Henry Cavill, good Superman, everything around him, bad Superman. Yeah. So he didn't really have a chance to be the person that he should have been. And whenever you've heard him speak, you're like, he knew what Superman was. He was just, weighted down with a lot of other stuff. So, we've had great Superman comics for a long time, but we haven't had a good Superman in a movie for a bit. So I was excited about the fact that they might do a good job with it.
So did they?
Well, hang on, Connor. How did you feel going into it? So you don't like James Gunn?
I answered first. I said I don't like James Gunn, so I was apprehensive.
But
that being said, though, like as you saw bits of it,
I was apprehensive. That's just I
just thought. Trailers, did you think I'm probably not going to like this?
No, I didn't go in. I didn't go into any preconceived. I go into every movie I go in hoping I'll like it. So I don't go in thinking, this is going to suck. So
that's good. So I guess the $10 million question then, Connor, is did you like right now before we get into details, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Ooh,
thumbs
good.
up. The
To
first James Gunn movie I've enjoyed. However, there are a handful of what I would consider big problems.
I will echo that, and
But I had a really good time watching it.
I will say thumbs up with an asterisk next to the thumbs up, in that there were I had a good time in watching it. I liked how bright it was. I liked the overall general tone. I felt as if it was, I'm going to say inconsistent, but not the way that when we say, oh, this movie's inconsistent. I feel as if like there were times when it clicked into place and there were times when it clicked out of place and then it clicked back into place, if that makes sense. And if anything, it squandered a lot of potential opportunity by trying to do too much, but it kept it on the rails by keeping it lighthearted and entertaining and fun. So
given what I've seen some of the other movies, specifically the DC movies, when we talk about doing too much, it did a much better job than that.
I think some of the things we'll talk about.
Yeah, but here's so overall, I mean, I know we do this at the end, but overall I walked out going B-, right? And my feeling about a B- is like, so I saw the Krypto Superman beat up Krypto, dragging him through the snow preview thing because they showed it before a movie. And other than that, I didn't see any other trailers. Like I did the Conor thing for it. I didn't want to see anything, so I had kind of no preconceived notions coming out of it. And all I knew and all I remembered was James Gunn and hearing that he was like modeling it after All-Star Superman, which got me kind of excited. And in my mind, All-Star Superman, the great work by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, is and I don't mean this to denigrate it or make it sound smaller than it is, but it is a simplified, singular vision, Superman at his core, like very focused, solid Superman stories, building up kind of thing in the complicated way that Grant does it, but it feels very thing. And I felt as if this needed more All-Star Superman and less Super Friends.
Josh, your overall thoughts before we get into details and things?
I thought it was very entertaining. I liked it an awful lot. It's the best Superman movie I've seen in a very, 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 very long time. I think he made an excellent Superman, and I think that the most important thing in it, regardless of if he said things that occasionally I was like, nah, I don't know if that sounds like Superman, because that's all I'm doing the whole time is going, well, is this Superman? Is this not? But at the end of the day, it's the guy. He's the guy because he cares about what people are. He doesn't want anybody to get hurt, and he wants to do the right thing, and that's what Superman is. And they need to know that. And he's he saved the fucking squirrel. And I know that that's like a little goop, but I was like, that's it. That's Superman.
No,
right
my audience clapped for that.
Like, because that said everything you needed to. And so, everything else, take it or leave it or whatever. But he looked good. He was supposed to be like a younger version of him, although I guess he was 33. But like, Jesus,
he was 30, I think. He was 30.
Well, it said 3 decades ago, and then something like that.
He
Whatever.
landed, and then 3 years ago he came out. So the 20.
Either way, so he's been around for a little while, and it was interesting is that the I won't get too deep, but like the trailer had him do that thing where he got really frustrated about being asked the questions. He was like, I was trying to, and I was like, that's weird. But then in the context of the movie where he was talking to his girlfriend, I was like, okay, I get that. So I liked that their relationship was kind of realistic. I have many other thoughts on it, so I'll let us go and we can.
So I think, yes, there was a lot happening, and I think that what that meant was that the things that you normally get a lot of in a Superman movie was given a little bit of a short shrift, mostly the Daily Planet, and
we got one scene with Clark Kent. We didn't see Lois being a reporter that much at all.
That's not true.
I disagree with that entirely. They saved the day by being reporters, but
yes and no. But they saved the day by having Jimmy knowing
that's what the reporter does.
But not in the way, not in. I mean, it was a little convenient. But anyway, go on, carry on. So
I think what he thought he had to do was not just make a Superman movie, but make a DCU movie that says this is this is what you can come to expect.
This is the world. This is the world.
So he had to do not only Superman, but the other heroes in the world, the villains, give you the entire feel for what this is going to be, because his remit was not just make a Superman movie, but refix the DCU in film.
Right.
And so, you got a lot of the Justice Gang, but I think he had to show this is what you're going to get from my DC going forward.
Yeah.
And I think in that sense, he did a really good job. This is the DCU I want to go back to.
Yep.
And see other heroes in. I liked all the other characters. I liked You know, I thought Guy Gardner was awesome. I loved,
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean,
the
like
lady
Nathan-
next
I
to me, I heard her go, "That Green Lantern was so weird," and I looked at Lindsay. I was like, "No, he was fucking perfect."
Yeah,
was
no,
perfect.
I mean
You need to
Nathan
understand.
Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner was slam dunk, totally slam dunk. Mr. Terrific. Aside from the hey, let's make a toy with Mr. Terrific's weird floating chair thing, which drove me crazy.
Have either of you watched For All Mankind?
No,
no.
Because I could not figure out where the hell I knew him from. He was driving me crazy.
I recognize him
time.
from the X-Men movie.
And he's
Mhm.
he's in For All Mankind. He's like
Yeah.
a tech
The
genius.
floating chair thing drove me crazy, but other than that, Mr. Terrific was a home run. Hawkgirl was fine, minus
didn't need the scream.
the scream was just
I loved it by the end.
unnecessary.
At first, I was like, "What is she screaming like a
Yeah.
hawk?"
Yeah,
and I was
I
like,
heard
"You know
that.
what? Fine, fuck it."
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You know?
But
She had a big
this,
base and wings.
this
doing
was
Hawkgirl shit.
so this was great, and it was fun, and it was good for the comic fans, and it's probably good for the thing. And Connor, I think you make a great point. This is an introduction to what the DC cinematic universe under Gunn is going to be like. But I can't help but wonder, if you subtracted them from this whole film and made this a purely Superman film, what more could we have gotten? Like, what did they distract from?
I agree with you.
Not taking it away from Mr. Terrific had one of the best action sequences in the whole film. You know, I think that there was some stuff that was really, I don't want to say shoehorned, but was really forcefully put into the film that I like. The whole pocket universe and
I thought that was really cool.
That's all comic book shit.
It
Yeah.
was.
Like, the thing is, like, what else do you need from everybody knows
Yeah.
Superman? Like,
Yeah,
you've established who he is, you've established what the world is. I was so happy that there wasn't a fucking origin story.
I agree. I
was
totally agree. I think that was
thrilled.
a great decision. Great decision.
However, think about this though. If you are a kid who's never seen a Superman story before, and I'm not saying they should have done that. I'm just devil's
Everyone
advocating it.
knows.
Then it's there.
But
You
does
can
everyone
find it.
know? If
Everyone
there hasn't been a
knows.
movie in a long time, those kids couldn't see those movies. They were too dark.
But there's all
But
those
if you love
cartoons.
them,
All
then you
those
can find
cartoons
out.
are streaming.
I'm not saying that this was wrong. I like that
Yeah.
they started. In
I mean,
VHS.
Connor, go out.
not worried about the
Go out
kids.
on the street in LA and find a kid, get some ice cream, say, "Hey, kid, come here."
I do
Get
it all the
in-
time.
get the
That's my
van.
Get
thing.
in your white panel van, go to the park. No, but find any kid and just be like, "Who is Superman?" Like,
Right.
I'd be curious to see how many people know. I don't
Don't
think you
do
need.
that, by the way.
Agreed. There's a joke.
And don't wear
do
the
that.
shirt.
Yeah,
Definitely don't do the ice cream thing. That's
but
fucking awful.
but
candy.
no, I thought it was great that it was just like similar to like Marvel's decision with Spider-Man. Like, we don't need to retell his origin.
Yeah.
Just he's Spider-Man, go do it. He's Superman, go do it. That's fine. But like, part of what frustrated me about it was that I thought you had a really interesting, compelling question when Superman involves himself in a global conflict of his own volition, and he's seen as a agent of the US. That whole first third of the movie, which then just gets thrown to the side, that question gets thrown to the side because it's just the machinations of Lex. And like,
well, the
like,
justice, they decide to go in and do it, which in a way justifies what it was that he did. They said, no, that
True.
was the right thing. And that's what I think. And also everything behind it was
fake
so
anyway. It was the
therefore-
monkeys.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the monkeys.
So,
Well, I think that also sets up a little bit, and I don't like this at all. But I think this is what they're doing is Gunn already announced they want to do an authority film, and of course the engineers in the movie, and so I think that it's probably setting the seeds for later
no
on.
Taskmaster.
yeah.
No, I didn't. She was fine, and but I just don't want
I
them
thought
in the DC universe.
I just thought it was curious. I mean, I wanted to know what you thought about it, because I did think that the engineer was an odd choice, and almost like kind of a waste of a great character, right?
Marvel's been doing it for years. I
True,
mean,
true. There's a template.
There's thousands of them.
And maybe it's the comics. I have such a hard time going into these and like shutting off our iFanboy brain, but like, the moment they went to the Fortress of Solitude and the doors opened, I was like, "Oh, Ultraman's a clone of Superman."
Well, first
like,
of all,
I
we
knew
know
that,
we know
like,
Ultraman is Superman. Like, so, I this is funny because I went with a group of people, then afterwards we got a drink and talked about the movie for like 2 hours. And since I was one of the only ones who knew Ultraman's secret, because
I didn't.
Ultraman is Superman of Earth 3. He's from the Crime Syndicate,
right?
And so I thought that the dimensional thing tore a hole, and this was Superman of Earth 3. I didn't expect him to be.
So here's
that
what
would have been
thought
much cooler, Connor. That would have been much
when he
cooler.
pulled his mask off. I thought that was Hayden Christensen from Attack of the Clones. I was like, who is that? I'm not kidding. I was like, I did not recognize that it was.
I thought it was going to be Earth 3. I thought, but I'm kind of glad they didn't do a multiverse thing right now.
Yeah, could your head explode if like the first
remember
movie
who
introduces a
Ultraman was.
multiverse and you got to deal with infinite Earths out of the gate?
I think that there's a thing that needs to be said. This is my main takeaway from the movie is that we haven't is that she was the best Lois Lane I've ever seen.
Yes. Well, no.
She was.
I mean,
she's
I
fantastic.
love her. I'm a huge fan of Rachel Brosnan, but
she's fantastic. She's fantastic, and I thought Holt was an awesome Lex Luthor. I thought
that's my second.
The triumvirate,
amazing. Modern version of a Lex Luthor with his fucking suit and his whole thing. But to go back to my point, like she looked like Lois Lane looks to me.
Yes.
You know, with the hair and the way she wasn't dressed super cool. She's obviously beautiful, but like she's a working gal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's out. And then what we were talking about earlier, and then you said one thing, but Connor said what I agree is that she was in the middle of all of the action. And largely by doing the reporting, she went into everything she didn't stay back.
A reporter's
She wasn't afraid of shit. She was in the middle of every single thing that happened. When she talked to him to Superman as if she was the reporter, she popped into that mode. And I was like, that's fantastic. That's journalism stuff. And she just like, they were on an equal footing. She actually wasn't amazed by him at all. And, you know, as a kid, Margot Kidder freaked me out. I didn't know what was. It was weird. And I was like, oh, it's a 70s cocaine chick. But either way, like she just was what I had in mind. It's the best I've seen of that in a while. I don't remember anything about Amy Adams as Lois or whatever. But I thought she was excellent.
Yeah. No, I agreed. And
the cast of this movie is great. I can't think of anyone
going back to my letter grade, like I would have dropped it into the C grade if it wasn't for Brosnahan and Holt. I think that they elevated the material so well, and Holt's approach to Lex and the way he handled it, and it almost, and again, where I say like my criticism of the film is that it left stuff on the table or squandered stuff. I'm almost frustrated that we got introduced to Lex. I feel like we got introduced to Lex in this is like the second or third movie. Like there are more stories to have been told to how did Lex get to this point. Right, that I would like to
still do all that.
Sure, yeah, maybe they will. Yeah, maybe they will. You know, but to have it reach its conclusion and he gets shipped off to Belle Reve, I know he will break out and blah blah blah.
That's the most comic book ending. I don't understand what could possibly be the problem with that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like
you
I thought
saying your stuff that like you wanted a different movie, but.
No, well, I mean, but the thing is I'm not expecting a comic book from here. I'm expecting a movie, right? And so I do want.
I'm not.
But the thing is, I guess from in terms of a comic book movie, and especially coming off of all these years of Marvel and all these years of cramming stuff in and cramming all whether it's Easter eggs or references or all these kind of things into it, I was kind of hoping for a more streamlined, again, simplified in the best possible way, pure delivery of a bright, hopeful, you know, colorful.
That's what you got.
You came close. Yeah, and I agree. You got it. Came close, but with a bunch of crap weighing it down. That's where.
What was crap?
The Justice Gang, the rift in the city crap. I think that it fell for the trappings of modern superhero films where they could have made a statement and stepped back from that and given us a little more character engagement or a little more depth, I think, than just a big, like at one point it's Superman and Ultraman banging each other into the wall of the rift. And I was like, oh, this is just, you know, like this is just the same old crap.
Movie did you think? Did you think this was going to be a Paul Thomas Anderson movie?
No. Which they showed that trailer before the movie, by the way.
I saw two different versions of that trailer on Friday and Saturday, which was crazy. Anyway,
which, by the way, they showed that trailer back to back with the they showed from Warner Brothers Animation, The Cat in the Hat. And then immediately the Thomas Anderson trailer.
That's the first Paul Thomas Anderson movie I've seen in a long time. I was like, that I want to see. Yeah. Anyway, but to me, all the things that you just said were big, dumb comic superheroes. Like the rift coming towards Metropolis.
And having to make a choice.
You can't be in two places at once. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, but that's great. And I loved the scale of the action. The one thing that I felt in this movie that so many of them have done wrong, and this is key to me, is that the threats felt real, and that is because one really great decision that they made was to limit the amount of Superman's power. They said he's the most powerful one, but he can still get beat up because in the DC universe, he's too powerful. He can do everything. He can hear everything at once and smell everything and see what's going on constantly. It's like, well, he can't get beaten. So in this, they pulled it way down, but like he's fighting giant monsters more than once in the middle of the city. What I did think was, why would you live in Metropolis? But and then the rift coming through, like there's consequences and there's stuff that's happening and it's big science fiction dumbass shit. And of course he's smashing into each. That's what they're supposed to have a big fight in the end. It's Superman versus Superman. I don't understand. Then they spent all this time talking about the morality of what
got one scene with Clark Kent. We got one. I also, by the way, in terms of the problems in Connor,
Clark Kent.
What did you think of the Kents?
Well, okay, so the main problems for me, my small problem is I hated Metamorpho's characterization. That was my small problem.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't like him being like a meek nerd. In the comics, he's a two-fisted adventurer. He's the Indiana Jones, but that's fine. It's a minor thing.
He looked great.
He looked great.
Yeah.
The main problem were both sets of parents,
which
I think are foundational issues. The first being turning the Kryptonians into Viltrumites is a big problem. I think that's a huge foundational issue that. Oops, sorry guys. That they sent him to Earth to.
Wait, are we talking about that afterwards? I'm not prepared.
That they sent him to Earth to conquer Earth, and that turns them into villains was a huge problem.
Yeah,
I thought the bigger problem, not bigger problem, but I felt like that was never properly addressed. Meaning, it felt like I was like, this feels fake, but they didn't. And everyone was like, no, it's right. And I was like, are we gonna? They didn't tie that off at all, and maybe that's a future plan, but.
And then. Making the Kents kind of jokes was a big problem.
They
turned them into hokey,
I thought
folksy jokes. They were really dumb.
I mean,
they weren't though. They
were
yes,
dumb.
It seemed like it at first, but the scene that you have a picture of, that conversation, I was like, that made up a lot.
That conversation was great, but
that made up a lot of ground.
Ma Kent should be the coolest grandmother in the room, and she was an idiot in the movie.
Ma Kent was bad. Kent was. It was just they were miscast. The actor playing Pa Kent was all right. Not my favorite Jonathan Kent at all. The Ma Kent was just not good. So
they were doddering grandparents, and the Kents should never be that. And it was that was a disaster. Everyone at the bar afterwards was could not stop talking about what a horrible choice that was.
I thought it was worse at first, but a little later it was like she wasn't bothered by anything, and she was kind of like cool about it. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting because he's learning that from her, and the whole thing about you making her, it was like great dad advice. I was like, he did a wonderful job. So I get it. Like there were some jokes about it that were maybe unneeded, but I don't think it was a complete disaster. It could have been. I mean, imagine, for example, that Superman had to watch his father get killed in a storm, and he just fucking stood there and watched it.
Right, but okay. So
we're not doing jokes. Okay, sorry.
No, we're trying to talk about the movie, though. So
I've been doing this wrong for years.
So it left a really bad taste in my mouth both ways. Also,
I didn't like it either.
My audience laughed when Bradley Cooper was revealed as Jor-El.
I didn't see it at all.
I didn't mind that.
Like, how did you not see that?
What's the mother's name, Connor?
Laura.
Yeah, I thought she was from Westworld, right? That actress. I forget what she said. I'm like, she looks alien. Like that's a good casting. Bradley Cooper, I wasn't surprised. It's like James Gunn. Yeah, I get it. Like going through the cast, like all the voices of the robots were like, oh, okay, yeah, it's Palm Clementif and
I don't have a problem with that necessarily. It was just the audience laughed. I didn't laugh, but I just thought the both sets of parents were really, really bad. Yeah. Foundationally, you can't, and I know the comics have done this, so it's a hard leg to stand on, but foundationally I don't think you can fuck with his parents as who he is that's the reason. And to make them less than or make them jokes or make them evil is a problem. And I did it in the comics recently.
To make that the twist seems challenging.
It didn't, and they didn't need it. They were already suspicious of him because of the social media campaign. They could have found another way to make them, to do that without making, the Kryptonians evil.
But I mean, it wouldn't make sense that it wasn't
make sense.
Yeah. It wouldn't make sense that it wasn't a lie in a way because Luthor had run all those other things, but like they were all like, no, we read it. I just translated the language, and we had 22 other linguist translate. And I was like, that doesn't.
There was that one part when he's with Guy and Mr. Terrific, and Guy's like, "Is it true?" And Mr. Terrific's like, "I know those guys. They wouldn't if they think it's true. It must be."
Yeah,
Look, I was
just
just like,
trying to convince us, and I was like,
I was like,
either way, there could have been a better way to get there. I guess my one other bit that I think I've gotten to all the thoughts, but I like that Superman / Clark was a bit of a nerd. Like he was a little out of sync, and so it wasn't the same as like awkward Clark Christopher Reeve, but he wasn't super cool. And I was like, that makes sense. You know, we're talking about, you know, he's a good dude, but he's not cool. And like you would see the punk rock, you know, conversation. I was like, yeah, I think she's pretty much spot on here. Like he's not at all punk rock, but then he goes, well, being good is punk rock, and I was like, that's also true. You know, it depends, but he isn't. We've talked about this kind of like he's not cool. He's got no reason to be cool. He's trying to figure it out, you know. I thought it was a good choice.
It would be nice
if know everything.
It would be nice if an actor, because no one's done it since Christopher Reeve, because I've watched through all the films recently, have tried to make Clark and Superman different characters. He didn't change his voice at all. He was he still had
they
Superman
slipped
voice.
This is the first time they slipped in the little thing with Guy about the hypno glasses.
Which was stupid.
Right, where they tried to explain the fact that Clark's
glasses
change the way what you see, and so change his
thought
face.
He was just I thought he was just speculating dumb shit.
That's what I thought too.
That was the attempt to explain why the glasses work as a disguise.
Whatever.
I thought that was
it was clunky. It was clunky.
I didn't think they were actually saying that, but
yeah.
No actor since Reeve has tried to make them two different characters. They use the same voice, they use the same posture, they use everything. And when he started talking in the planet, I was like, oh man, he's basically not even doing anything.
I still like the whole Daily Planet. I feel like was underused. I love the guy who played Perry. He's in
Wendell
Pierce. Yeah, and like
you've never seen his best work.
I wanted more of him, right? Like,
yeah, Lindsay actually goes, he hasn't been in this at all because he's like a beloved character actor.
So I hope we get more with him. Also the desks were just enormous. I was just like, those are very big desks.
Well, my assumption, I don't know anything. My assumption would be if and when there's a sequel, it'll be more of a focused Superman movie. He won't feel the need to have to deal with the entire DCU at that point. But but like I said, the Daily Planet people were cool. I loved, Ladies Man Jimmy Olsen. I loved that we got the entire
that classic. Was great.
We got the entire classic, we got Ron Troop and Cat Grant and Steve Lombard, Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane and Perry White, and they were all in it. And maybe even Ron Troop had a line I may have missed, but
I don't think he did.
But like I said, they are the ones who bring Lex down ultimately. It's their article that turns the government against Lex. They save the day through journalism while Clark is busy fighting Ultraman. Without them, Lex is still out and free and in power. And I liked that. I loved Wendell Pierce as Perry. I thought him knowing that Clark and Lois were hooking up, or at least Superman and Lois were hooking up, was very funny.
Yeah.
Showing that they're, these are season. Even Jimmy knew. He's like, yeah, it's been like 3 months. Like they all know what's happening.
That bit where the girls are checking Jimmy out that has no context and makes no sense, but then is paid off later is fantastic. I just for some reason I didn't realize he was Jimmy for a minute, just cause like he didn't have a flaming redhead or something, and then I realized it and what was going on. I was like, oh, that's great. That's great.
And a call back to the comics where he is, he's kind of this weird nerdy ladies man in the comics, and I just like that every choice worked, even if every choice didn't get enough time. I thought the glimpses of everything that he's choosing, not every choice, obviously, we just talked about things that didn't work, but like the planet stuff worked, the Justice League stuff worked, the Superman was great. I think he understands Superman in a way that Snyder completely did not understand Superman.
This is the big question for me is like, what did you think of this actor as Superman?
I thought it was very good.
Like just like, were you like, okay, he's doing it correct?
They leaned into the nerdy bit, like you said earlier, where usually Clark is more of the nerd and Superman's very sort of a confident hero. Like the post-credit sequence where they're, they notice that the building hasn't lined up correctly. I thought it was very funny. But even then, at the end of that, he's like, damn, I'm always, I'm kind of a jerk. Like they're making Clark and Superman more similar personality-wise, which I didn't necessarily mind, especially after we've had the Superman we've had for so long. But I thought he was great.
Yeah, I think
I don't like the suit.
Why?
I hate the articulation on it. I hate
the detail.
I don't like the Kingdom Come.
Just the S crest. Yeah.
I hate the suit.
Yeah.
I thought I at some point like I saw like the boots and I was like, those boots look like they're like all the things are placed correctly.
At least he's
Like,
got the red underwear.
He's
You know?
got the
and
red
it's bright
trunks, he's
and
got-
bright and bright and shiny, and that I love that part of it.
Mhm.
Especially after even the Superman and Lois TV show had the dark muted suit. You know,
Yeah.
this was great. I just wish he would go with the classic S, and I wish he doesn't need all these lines and things and bulges.
That's just what
Guy
that's all
doesn't need.
superhero
Guy doesn't
costumes.
need arm
Yeah.
arm armor.
Listen,
Yeah, like,
I
they
hate
leaned
guys.
into the haircut. You can't ask for anything else.
I was looking at Guy's costume and the JG on I was looking at their costume and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I want this to be different, Connor. I'm with you on that too. Yeah.
I wish he just had a classic Green Lantern suit on.
Yeah.
Oh, not his classic Green Lantern suit, not the classic Green Lantern.
They killed it with Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all wearing a uniform, which is stupid, but it worked. I thought Mr. Terrific was great. His scenes with Lois were great.
Did you see when Lois went to the Hall of Justice to try to get them to help? Did you see the mural? Did you see Wildcat, the JSA mural?
I noticed Wildcat. I didn't see who else.
It was a big JSA mural, and the Wildcat was in it, and and I noticed a couple of streets. I saw Wade Street and Jurgens.
Yeah, I saw Wade and I saw Jurgens. Right, that was those were the kind of references that were in it that like they didn't even call attention to, and I was like.
Yeah.
So what? I was like,
and Connor, one of the news when the kaiju thing attacked, it attacked near Jitters, and I was like, but what was also funny was that I guess I haven't watched Peacemaker, and I haven't watched the animation thing, but I guess apparently there's a bunch of references I was reading online, a bunch of the Creature Commandos or whatever it is that was on Max that James Gunn did. There was a bunch of stuff seeded in from that, building up. James Gunn's verse. So there might have been stuff that went over my head from that, that I'm sure other people are
other than Peacemakers.
The band,
that's great.
The band that Clark liked apparently came from Creature Commandos, I think. Yeah. So
that's great though. I mean, that's what these should be.
Yeah.
But also in the
everybody
comics,
gets them, but if you do, you feel special, which is
in Action Comics currently, it's a Superboy storyline, and in his locker is a sticker of that band's name.
Well, yeah, because they're starting to pull them all in together. Yeah.
So we haven't at all talked about the real thing that most everyone's talking about, and that is the dog. So Krypto. I like Krypto in the comics. I like the concept of him and his the boy and his dog, even though in this it's revealed that it's Supergirl's dog. I could have probably used 20% less Krypto, but I thought they used him very well. And
agreed. I feel like Krypto is the baby Yoda of this now. Everyone's loving it. It's the hit. I feel like he went to the well a couple of too many times with it, but that's what happens when everyone loves dogs, and it's fine. I thought it was great. A cute dog. I would have liked him to behave a little better, but
I think I agree with you. I love dogs, as you know. Dogs are an absolute good in my world. But I liked the defiance of expectation. Instead of just making him the best dog ever, like the wonderful Brandy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's a good dog, but he's not trained.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was super fun to see a live action sequence of Krypto and Superman fighting bad guys, because I've never seen that. And it was done really thoughtfully and really well. And it was all based on the fact that the dog was really excited, but then it's a very real thing to be like, no, don't eat that, but he eats the T-spheres. And then structurally to have that be a gag that then comes back around to be a plot point, I was like, bravo, that's exactly what it should do. And it's fun.
Get the toy. Yeah.
And also, another way to show who Superman is when Krypto gets kidnapped by Lex's people, and he says,
I love that.
Yep.
Something like he's alone, probably scared. I have to find him. And
that is such a dog. I mean, it's a good purpose. It's such a dog owner thing, is that when my dogs are home alone too long, I feel terrible. So that's times whatever with Superman's empathy. I really love that.
So there was the shot in the mid credits of them on the moon, which is a direct homage to this panel from All-Star Superman 6 from Quietly and Jamie Grant of them on the moon.
Yep.
that was people didn't like waiting a while for that one, but they enjoyed the after credit sequence.
I didn't really like waiting for either of them.
I thought
something.
I thought
relevant.
the end credit sequence with Mr. Terrific was funny, but I'm like, I didn't need to wait this whole time.
That should have been the mid credit sequence.
Yes, and that shot should have been the end credit sequence,
or
like,
just Maxwell Lord talking
put it
about
on
the
the
Justice League
fucking
Initiative.
DVD and call it a day.
I did laugh at Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord. That was funny. I like Sean Gunn, but
Supergirl. Let's talk about I was not expecting Supergirl to show up at the end.
Oh, I totally was. Oh,
I wasn't. I just wasn't. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think she's going to be a really interesting and unexpected Supergirl. I thought she was funny as the sort of hungover party girl Supergirl, and clearly has no interest in training her dog because it's fun for her to get slammed around by the dog. And I thought it was great. And also, we couldn't really see her that well. Also, we saw her, we could see her, but we really couldn't. And that was really cool.
And her appearance made the dog click into place. Like, oh, that's why the dog's the way it is, right? It's her dog.
Her owner's neglectful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I leaned over. I was like, my friend wrote the book. It's a really good book about her. It's going to be a movie.
Yeah, no, that was a nice little that could have been the end credits, but I like that it was in the movie, and it's a nice little tease towards the future. And she's I mean, her in House of the Dragon, she's got such a unique look. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see.
Have you read this? You probably haven't read the Supergirl story that Tom. No. It's so good.
Is it good?
Yeah. It's
basically True Grit. Supergirl.
Oh, cool.
True
yeah,
Grit. Where she's Rooster Cogburn.
With like Bill Everly on art, who's amazing. He's great.
At the end of the day,
he's looking at me.
At the end of the day, we suffered through a long time where the DC movies were, with very few exceptions, not good. They weren't fun.
Right.
They didn't invoke the comics. They didn't feel inspiring. They were just angry slogs. And I remember distinctly watching Captain America: Winter Soldier and thinking there's never going to be a DC movie like this. And I'm not saying this is that, but this gave me hope.
Frank Grillo.
Well, there you go. This gave me hope, though, that there might be one day a movie that is that good and that fun and that complex from this DCU, because it wasn't going to come from the other one. And this one at least embraces the comic book roots in a way the other films did not. It was bright. It was funny. It felt like a going into the DCU. It felt like that. Like, it didn't feel out of place to see Guy Gardner or the people show up. It felt like you were in this world, and I want to go back to it. I'm looking forward. Guy Gardner is going to appear in the Lanterns TV show, which is going to be very strange. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this, because before I was not at all about the stuff they did with DC.
I think, like I said, like the giant monster in the middle of the city. I was like, okay, and then at the one point when they're fighting Starro. Is it Starro? Or
no,
whatever.
Starro was Suicide Squad.
The rumors is Missile Pick. It was Missile Pick because he's
right.
It was
either way.
The
fact that it was just a thing going on in the background.
This giant bat.
They had, and he's like, oh, they got it or whatever. And I just thought, there's your superhero world. Like, that's the way to do the thing, and just have it be used to this chaos and and not really try to explain. Like I said, why would you ever live in Metropolis? Well, that's the point. They do. It doesn't matter. Like that sort of action, that stuff going on all the time.
But even the end, the Return of the Jedi-esque climax where there's like 3 sets of actions happening, and it wasn't enough for Superman to save that country. The Justice League did, and in a way that made sense in the film and was a payoff emotionally to them not getting involved or not helping him, was they came in and saved the day while Superman was dealing with Ultraman and while the reporters were dealing with Lex. And so it just felt like a big cohesive world. Yes, Ron, 100%. As a Superman movie, a lot was neglected from the Superman part of the thing.
Yep.
But as a DCU movie, this felt really successful as a cohesive whole. And Superman was Superman. The fucking guy saved squirrels and people, and he didn't want anyone to get hurt.
Yep.
And he got mad at the heroes for being neglectful of the people around them. And
like, for years,
he had the hair. He was good.
And for years, they would be like, well, no one wants to see the big blue Boy Scout or whatever. And I was like, if there's anybody who we need to see, is this empathetic, caring guy who does something about it when he can and cares, and like that, it's the first thing I thought, I love is like, that's Superman, that's his thing, and that's the only thing that really matters to me like if you don't get that right, the whole thing's a failure.
Yep.
And Zack Snyder didn't get right, so they did here.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see. I mean, it definitely is a good launch. It's not it's not the complete home run A+, redefining of the genre or whatever it is, but it definitely pulled me in, and I'm ready for the next one. Ready to see
it's harder to get an A in this category in a world where you've had Avengers, you had all those things happen. You keep having to raise the stakes, and so like they're sort of establishing a baseline here. This is kind of like their Iron Man right now.
Yeah,
after having watched them fail.
Setting that up.
Right. No, but this is kind of like their Iron Man, but if Iron Man had
4 movies,
four other characters show up while he was doing it. Iron Man just had Iron Man, and then Nick.
I know.
At the very end, I mean that's more what I'm up against, is that I wanted more Iron Man than I wanted Avengers.
I've had enough Superman that I can like deal with how much Superman I got, because I'd rather see Superman existing in the world with all this other stuff going on instead of discovering the heroes and being like, there's others.
Right, and that's one thing that I did.
Right at the very beginning, when they're like, there was metahumans, here they are. I loved that
pre-credit
sequence.
And
that was very Morrison-esque.
And that's one thing that I think that they succeeded in this, that they introduced you to, this is the world we live in that is populated by metahumans. Superman knows other superheroes, and this is a common occurrence, and this is what we're doing. Let's go. Like it did that.
I love the running joke of they all knew he was Clark. Yeah. And they were all like, he's got to stop trusting people. Like, he's like, the guy's like, do you know he's Clark? And then there's like, and that was fun. I mean, you got the sense there was a world around that happened before.
Yeah. And that's great. Sense. It's the enter late, leave early thing.
Like, yeah. And at the end of the day, I think this had to be about establishing the ethos again, which is all built around, as DC is all built around Superman, and the ethos of Superman was correct. Yep. That means they can now branch off in other directions, but the core, he will be correct.
Did you like?
And now, when you have a Batman, their relationship is gonna be great.
Right. I was gonna say, did you like seeing when the scene when people were trying to escape Metropolis and the building was falling down, and there was the quick pan shot of the street signs and Gotham City direction?
Well, what was most interesting, which people are not everyone's picking up on, because you have to be super in the weeds for this, is James Gunn confirmed that Metropolis is in Delaware.
Right.
Which is I saw
the license plate. Yeah.
Which has been a contentious thing, but in the old DC Atlas that came out in the 80s and 90s.
We talked about it on the show years ago, right?
Yeah, Delaware, Gotham is in New Jersey and Metropolis is in Delaware.
I thought Gotham was in Baltimore at some point.
No, in the Atlas it's in New Jersey. Yeah. But that was funny, which I laughed at.
The other thing, Connor, that cracked me up was the fight on the baseball field. They filmed that in Cleveland.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the Indians ballpark. The thing the big sign that says the Meteors. Like if you go look at I think it's Progressive.
Oh, that makes sense, because they did.
It's the Indians ballpark. They just covered up what said.
We were trying to figure out what the Ohio filming was, because
Cleveland Guardians now. That's not the Indians.
Oh, I saw the Cleveland thing.
Waiting to the end, nice. We were like Canada, New Zealand. We were like Cleveland.
I saw that too, and I was like, "What was that?"
So I went to a Cleveland baseball game last summer and was in that ballpark, and they were in the left field. There used to be a restaurant. They're renovating it, and they just have a big tarp covering where the construction is, and that same tarp had the Meteors logo. Like that's where they filmed that's the ballpark they filmed in. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had problems with it. I think those problems may be worse problems later, but they didn't ultimately detract me from really enjoying the movie.
Yep.
All right, I think I gave it 4 stars out of 5 on.
Well, I was gonna say, let's get ratings. I've been waiting to do this. I know I gave mine earlier, but ratings. So
I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd, so that's what I'm sticking.
4 stars on Letterboxd. How does that translate to?
I don't know.
No, letter grades. What we do stars?
We do 1 to 5.
I'm out of practice. I've done this in a while.
Your other shows, do you do grades? Is that what
we don't do grades? We should do grades.
They do like bars, like a signal on a phone.
Signal bars. All right, well, Josh, you go. I got to think about stars.
Connor, did I ever tell you that we were talking about the fact that you should do an interview podcast, and then we call it Pros and Connors? Will you start doing the interviews from now on so that we can use that, because it's or I mean, you can do baseball. I don't.
That's a segment. I can do that. The Pros and Connors, where I debate a topic.
Oh my God. 4 1/4.
Whoa! All right.
I mean, like Superman is, the older I get, the more important Superman is to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can have this guy exist and he needs the light and he does the right thing. He looked the part. I had a really fun time. Hopefully people are going to see it and take the right thing out of it. Although apparently the right hates him. I don't know.
Not to worry about that. So when I gave it a B- and how that tracks to stars, that's either a 3.5 or
that's
to a 4. That's either 3.5 to a 4.
That's not a 4.
But no, yeah. But I feel like a 3.5 is too harsh because it's not. I don't think this is a 3.5. So I'll go 4. I'll go 4 stars. And buoyed by the performances of the 3 main leads, plus with the brightness and the respect to the kind of comics kind of comic stories that we want to see, and the promise for tomorrow, and Mr. Terrific. Yeah, so 4 stars. I'll go 4 stars.
My biggest concern, and I'm just always concerned about these things, is that now you've got momentum. People are excited. People are going to this movie. It's making a lot of money. What's next?
Sure.
There should be something that's all ready to go for next summer. I don't know if there is or not. I know they got the Lantern show next year, but that's a show. Don't do what Marvel did. Don't blow it all by doing too many shows. What's the next film? There should be one ready to go. If we wait 2 years for another DC movie.
Supergirl, Woman Tomorrow, slated for release on June 26, 2026.
Yeah, right. That's right. They finished filming that. So the next one is Supergirl, but you got to get this ball rolling.
Who's directing that?
Let's see.
Get that ball rolling.
Sorry.
Supergirl director. It is directed by Craig Gillespie.
You know him. Okay. You love his films.
Craig Gillespie. He directed Cruella and Dumb Money.
Josh, he did The Finest Hours.
Coast Guard doesn't say you gotta go. He says you gotta go out there. He didn't say you gotta come back.
He did I, Tanya, The Finest Hours.
And he did Dumb Money.
He did Lars and the Real Girl.
That's interesting.
I, Tanya, yeah.
It's a great comic series. I mean, really, if you're just following the True Grit, then it'll be hard to get it wrong.
He did say in that big, was it Hollywood Reporter interview James Gunn did, or whoever it was with, that they have no idea what to do with Batman. So it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
But
that's right. Figure it out and do it right. You got let Matt Reeves do his thing.
But they do need to get a steady stream of these coming out. Not again 4 or 5 a year, but they need to be ready to go to keep people excited about what they're doing.
Yeah. So,
but Supergirl, I'm excited. I love that comic, but I didn't know what to think of Supergirl. After seeing her in the movie, I was like, I definitely want to see her as a protagonist because that's interesting. I've never seen a superhero like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I'm trying to think of all the hundreds of Marvel.
Well, what's interesting to me is that she's not the traditional Supergirl,
right?
But you're open to it.
She goes through other planets to party. Again, expanding the idea that there is. I mean, we know he's from Krypton, but there's not just other worlds. There's places where
other
you can
planets
go party on other worlds.
Yeah, with red suns.
Right.
Yeah,
so anyway, I liked it. I think we're all happy that there's a Superman that we can get behind in the world right now. And there you go. So if you want to check out more,
don't blow the sequel. Just don't blow the sequel.
As long as one person directs it. So
find the people, keep them on it.
We're going to have a review of the Fantastic Four First Steps, which I've been trying to avoid the trailers, but I didn't because they've been showing them. They showed them for Superman, but I'm excited for it. We'll have that review coming in a few weeks. We'll have all of our special edition shows over at iFanboy.com. You can find all of our podcasts there. Josh and I do a weekly show where we review the week's new comics over at iFanboy. Ron joins us for the monthly Media Explode show. It's all at iFanboy.com. Those are all of our shows. Ron, tell them about your show.
My other show, you can go listen to Android Faithful every Tuesday at androidfaithful.com, where we're talking about smartphones and technology and fun stuff like that. Just talked about all the new Samsung phones that just got announced. Very exciting. So
he has another show?
Ha ha ha. All right. Well, do you believe a man can fly?
I was kind of hoping that they were going to end the movie with him flying in space like all the other ones, but they didn't, and it's fine. Oh,
did you pick up?
One question before you go.
I got one thing.
The music. I didn't like the music.
The music was fine. I thought
the music was. The score was unmemorable, and I thought the use of.
Did you pick up on all the names of all the people around Lex, by the way, too?
Yes,
it was Otisberg and
Otisberg was
Eve Tessmacher.
Yeah, the girlfriend was Eve Tessmacher, and there was somebody else too. It was all So there was.
Who was the weird mustache glasses guy?
That's James Gunn's buddy. That was nobody. But that's just one of his friends. Yeah, that's just not. Yeah,
I was like, he's off-putting.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. It was a really interesting choice to put like a group of like rowdy tech bros around him.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
I
and
mean,
like
that's the
video
choice.
gamers, like
Right.
that was. I mean, it fit. It worked. Yeah.
It's
So.
like
Lex,
who had
Lex is always
no-
reflective of the times that what's
Yeah.
happening
Right.
now is he's basically
And
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
But like they had no compunction. Like we're doing great work out here. And it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
no, you're
Well, what
the
do you
bad
think
guys.
What do you think the tech guys are
I
making?
know that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
You know,
let's
AI
wrap this
is
up
gonna-
before it takes a turn. Oh my God.
All right.
All right.
Until next time, I'm Connor.
I'm Ron.
I'm still Josh. Thanks, everyone.